Just start off by telling the people a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure. So my name is Olga. I am head of global marketing for SEMrush, and I've been with the company for 7 years. I started as a social media marketing girl, and that was early, like 2013, when the community was not as large. And so we started growing together with the community, and I started being just, well, I paid attention to the audience. I started interacting, and then everybody really wanted to know who was that person behind the orange logo. So I started interacting as myself, and also because I was so close to the audience, I started interacting a lot within the company, which kind of like the knowledge about the audience brings the influence to the marketer to also just share the feedback. And yeah, so from there I just kind of got my own team. We divided by regions, and I got the biggest one called rest of the world. So I was expanding to new markets. Eventually I think I was like 50 countries. That's what I was covering. And from there, yeah, just more teams and bigger projects and more responsibility. And I'm leading now our brand marketing efforts across the world.
And I had seen, I don't want to get the numbers wrong, but I had seen online, just doing some research, that from the time that you took over to the revenue points now, it's been a pretty significant jump. Yes.
Yep.
What are you able to share the percentage increase?
I'm not able to share the revenue numbers, but so this year we hit the 6 million people tested SEMrush. So SEMrush, yes. I need to keep calling it how we call it now.
And that,
So I knew I would get it wrong.
and that's actually funny because I saw the video that you had posted, and I've always kind of gone between SEMrush and SEMrush
Yeah.
too. So this is, I guess, probably the most important question of the interview. What is it? What is it officially? You guys went through a rebrand, and what
Yes,
is it officially? How do you pronounce it now?
it's SEMrush.
SEMrush. So you used to call it SEMrush too, then?
Yeah, me personally, yes.
Okay, interesting.
But for example, my international team, non-English speaking world, they never had a problem. It was always SEMrush.
So
Yeah, in French it was SEMrush, so it stays like this. And
interesting. And was there some sort of internal debate, or was that always just how it was?
no, it was just my decision and head of design. Like we looked at all of our um, communication. It was super diverse, and we saw that, okay, the local specifics, but overall we need to take the responsibility. And yes, it's fine to have, and it's fun to have those debates, but at the end of the day, that's when then we do the rebranding, that's the point where you actually just decide. And yeah, we went with um, so it was a tool that was designed for SEO and SEM. So it was about keywords and domains and analytics and search. Then we expanded to 50 tools, and also having the SEM abbreviation was also limiting our growth, because then like the new audience would come in and make and decide that it's okay, it's for the SEO or advertising team. Like I have no connection to it whatsoever, and they would not dig deeper. So this was limiting ourselves. So that's why it's SEMrush.
And was there any? Because I know you all have really pushed to become a more holistic, not just holistic SEO tool or SEM tool, but cross content, social.
Yeah.
Was there any when you guys went through the rebrand? Was there any thought about actually changing the name to be more encompassing, or was it just SEMrush the whole time?
No, I just, when I love Nike, and I don't really care what they have behind their, like the name of the brand. This is just for me, that stays Nike, what's important, what they produce. So I don't really see any purpose in like in cutting the SEM or changing it. Like everybody knows the brand, everybody knows the Fireball. So it's just a matter of what we produce. And I need to, my dog is
It's fine.
making squeaky sounds.
I get it. Don't worry about it. This is a new work from home life. It's not, you don't have to apologize.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have this issue, but yeah,
Yeah,
now I do.
just wait. Like I said, we were talking about the dogs a little before we went live, and I love my dog more than anything. But I'm gonna tell you what, it definitely it's a life changer in terms of just
Yeah.
they require a lot more attention than advertised for sure. But they bring a ton of love and joy for sure. Um, so this is actually what we mainly focus on here. If you didn't know, the Blueprint is a platform for digital agencies, specifically SEO. In this show, what I like to mainly focus on is three different pillars: positioning, productization of services, and then also kind of marketing lead generation. So with you, I definitely wanted to focus on positioning because when you came on board 7 years ago, and even now, still today, it's a very, very competitive market for SEO.
Yes.
Um, my business partner and I, David Krebit, we actually have a software company that we've been working on, and we made a very conscious decision not to build something new, but to build something on top of, right? So we use a lot of your API data. We use DeepCrawl's API data, and a lot of that was because we're like, we're never going to be able to compete with the SEMrush. We're never going to be able to compete with DeepCrawl, not within the next 5 years, anyways, right? So when you took over, what was kind of the process to really distinguish yourself in the market and become what is really probably the leader in SEO tools right now, right? I mean, did you guys have any specific conversations, any specific plan? Like, how did you determine kind of your market positioning 7 years ago, and how has that grown over the time period till today?
So it was actually the internal tool that the founders used to promote their other businesses. But then from everything else, they saw that SEMrush had the highest growth, so they focused on this. And when I joined, Moz was like dominating the market, and also when I was watching White Friday, I was looking at a very high quality marketing product, um, and yeah, Moz was like no question about it. They were the strongest brand on in SEO space. Um, and we were more focusing on the product side as well as Ahrefs. Like I think these both tools, they really invested in the high quality product, and that's where I think Moz lost the game. And eventually, as our chief strategy officer says, like at some like up until a certain point, the software should sell itself without any marketing. So I think we were growing also because of a freemium model where people just sign up, and then we started like, nurturing them. And then so I just don't really think that we just went with all possible features that the majority of the audience were wishing for. We gathered the best like well insights from the market, and we were product first company, and we still are. And that's like I think that's what was like a turning point. So but when I was looking at what Friday and everything Moz was doing, I was thinking there's no way I could beat them. Like there's because this was just something that like wasn't even like well I couldn't feel that we were at that level. And then in 3 years it was obvious that yes, we did it. And I think that what was different as well, it was like I was never I think I can just recall only a few occasions where I was told what I need to do. Like this is how it's up until this day. I come up with a plan, I approve it, but that comes from me. So I'm fully responsible for what I do. The same with my teams. I share my vision, but then they just add their own, and then some like oftentimes they come up with me with the ideas as well. So I think this was the also the really the secret ingredient where we had around like 50 passionate people just going out on all of the markets and conquering them in a way that we saw fit, applying the local strategy, and also we from point like from the first day we were aiming for like we were going local. So that's what also was different with Moz and different with Ahrefs. We localize. We even now have localization for 10 languages. We're aiming for more. And this is where we were able to penetrate markets early on. And this gave us global expansion wherever we went. Then the audience understood the platform in a language that they like that was native to them. So this was our differentiation, and this was nothing about marketing. This was just a strong product and a decision on a really executive level that we will be going local. This is more expensive, but I think eventually this really paid off. For example, in Brazil, in France, those markets, I think we are we are rated number 2 after Google Analytics and Google Suite. This is
Wow.
like we're the second in the SEO space for sure, and then in just analytics space as well. And that's because we started nurturing the market 5 years ago, and nobody was there. Like now, Neil Patel has a very like he looks at the market, he tries to penetrate it, and the tool is free in a way. So with the Brazil. Free is really interesting with the financial difficulties they have, but overall, I would say that other tools need to really go a long way to catch up with us. And this was just the overall company positioning. So this was not marketing even.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree with that 100%. I mean, Moz is, I've been in the space now for almost 12 years, and I also remember when I was first getting started and looking at Moz as like the shining beacon for
Yeah.
everything SEO. They've always provided great content and they've always had
Yes.
marketing,
Mhm.
but I've never used their product. The only thing that I've ever used from them has been kind of their Moz bar that would be in the
Mhm.
search, but then it just got
Yeah.
too slow in the whole thing. So they got a reputation years ago that I feel like they just couldn't get past, that their product was just not that good. And I also feel like, in all fairness, I actually do like and respect Neil Patel. I know he gets mixed reviews from the SEO community, but I feel like, same thing there. Neil's a great marketer, but I don't think his product will be able to stand the test of time, especially again against a company like SEMrush that just has the resources, has the brand, and has the product. Right? I mean, I agree with that 100%. I think agencies, are every business falls in the same boat that it should be product first, right? People ask me what's the best way to get clients. I say do a good job for the clients that you have, and build a reputation, build a brand, build case studies, build a track record, and generate referrals, and you'll be fine. You don't really have to do much marketing, and then really marketing is kind of just the gasoline that you pour in that little flame
Yes.
that you build
Mhm.
from what you have, which again is probably a very similar strategy and approach that you all have taken. So um, I did have some more questions too. I mean, so you guys do a lot of different kind of marketing initiatives. You guys are very, very present at pretty much every conference or event I've ever been to. I see your ads on YouTube, on Facebook. Obviously, you guys also create a lot of content. You do the webinars. What would you say has been the most effective acquisition channel? And are you looking at it just kind of like front end, like we're looking to get people into our freemium model, or are you eventually looking to just looking at the marketing channels all the way through to paying customers and lifetime value?
Um, Definitely freemium model helps, and that also with a strong product, it gets a really like the word of mouth because you can use it for free, and then our free product actually provides a lot of value. And there are, well, millions of people that cannot afford to pay, but they are happily using our free plan to just like, well, track. We even do site audit, track the keywords. You're able to track 10 keywords. We still like give that 10 queries per day. So it's like it's a solid for a free plan. I would say it's quite solid. But and then also it helps to get the leads in, and from there sales team nurtures the leads that, and then they actually get for example, we have webinars, we collect the leads from webinars, they also go to sales team and then they get qualified. But then we have automated nurture tracks with email, and that's like I think what every company has, or well, if they don't, they should. And then it's a huge logic. If they open one email, then they get a certain one. If they don't, then they get like a subtle reminder and something else on the topic. So it also we started asking. That's what changed the funnels. We started asking from early on what they were interested in most. So then the nurture tracks are now tailored to SEO, to content, to advertising, to heads of marketing. So it would be a different set of emails. And this is the channel that closes out. So this is the channel that converts, as well as retargeting. Obviously, that we I think we are the biggest spenders among SEO tools for sure.
I would agree
So
with that for sure. Yeah.
um, and I think this is I think whoever's not doing that, they're really losing, like they're missing the point. Because okay, there is a budget, but like you the return on the ad spend, like if you fix this, then actually ads are profitable, then you get more clients, so you're able to spend more. And I think yeah, it takes time to test, and then you have to just um, test it. But yeah, there are a lot of agencies that can help the the companies that have limited resources in house. So yeah, we are happy with this. We bid also on our competitive keywords as well. I wouldn't say that this is the strongest strategy we have, but in some cases that's really also helping us. This, and whoever's not doing this also missing the long track. Well, it's not probably one of the most ethical parts of the advertising, but this also works. So we're
Eagle. Yeah.
trying everything with this channel. And YouTube ads are great. It's very difficult to measure the conversions and the outcome. Banner ads the same, but what we see that somewhere in buying funnel, then they actually they make a huge difference. So yeah, I would say this is what differentiates us a lot from others in terms of our strategy.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. I am a huge proponent of advertising. It literally, advertising runs, I mean, even just the scale of what you can get just from Facebook, it literally runs all three of our companies. It's the main driver, not only of acquisition, but also just branding, reach, and awareness, right? If you understand kind of the marriage between really good content that you create and then just the fact that you've got to get it in front of people. And ads are really the fastest and cheapest effective way to not only get it in front of people, but then to understand the reaction if this is really what people want to see, to really get your content refined. I think what I see, and I've done some consulting with other SEO kind of tools in this space, is that they look at Moz again as kind of like that's who we want to emulate. And Moz had, the blog, which I feel like for them has always been the big driver, but the blog is just one piece of it, right? Especially now where we're so in it. That was 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago, right? Where Moz was really dominating the space. Which the amount of noise on people's feeds and how people are getting information now has changed so much since then. It's people aren't reading blogs as much. You just got to be in multiple places. And I feel like a lot of companies look at advertising almost, I don't want to say in a negative light, but some people find it annoying. Some people also think that it just doesn't work. But, I tell folks all the time, especially in the blueprint, ads work. It's just what you're doing doesn't work. And it takes time to get it dialed in.
Yeah.
It takes time to refine it. And so much of your advertising practice actually is not about the targeting. Like these platforms take care of the targeting for you. It's easy. It's about the content. It's about your messaging. It's about your positioning. It's about how you're getting in front of people and ultimately what you're doing to get them off of Facebook and into your ecosystem. So you already mentioned one of those major things was different forms of opt-ins, right? Webinars. You've obviously got
Yeah.
the free tool. What is the handoff between marketing and sales, right? So if you get someone's email, you're obviously sending them to an email automation sequence. That's all marketing. But at what point does the sales team step in on some of those leads? So they have to trigger like a certain level of warmness. Are you collecting phone numbers and calling them on the phone? Like what is kind of the integration between your sales and marketing teams?
This is all automated. And then we collect the information on the name, the company, phone number, and the country. um, everywhere. And then this is, well, the country we need for also for GDPR reasons, and then for like identifying there are different um, uh, yeah, protection laws like around the world. Like every country has it, but we just need to ensure that we are compliant with the specific one. And then we also have the like ticks that whether they agree to receive the specific email confirmation from the webinar, for example, or they're happy to get our advertising like on newsletters. But from there, it's just automatically goes to the CRM, and then obviously the qualification just matters on the phone number. Of course, then the priority goes to whoever gave us more information, and then we also like we um, decide on that, but the system decides. So it's not the salespeople. And then with sales reps, they're just obviously divided by countries. And that's, yeah. And then they they cannot call everybody, but they try to call as much people as possible. Whoever they, well, also we have humans behind the machine, so
Mm-hmm.
they are able to see which webinar the person checked or which PDF they downloaded. But the majority is still the freemium model, so it's just incomparable. We had one webinar like that brought us um, 12,000 leads. So, and yeah, and then we measure in thousands. And so this is how big we are. Like even the webinar that they would bring us easily a couple of thousand if that's a good webinar. And we also, for example, for the new audience, so I had the goal of bringing in a completely new leads we've never touched. So this was difficult, but that's when we launched the Global Marketing Day. We launched something that was super huge, that had a really strong marketing trigger of 24 hours nonstop conference, and we did the really high quality and video content that worked, and it was yeah, interesting for like interesting medium for people. And we didn't advertise it to our audience. Like, we had, I think, maybe 5,000 leads come in from our audience, so we just blocked we had the emails, but they were like really minor, and overall it was 56,000 leads that came in. And then so yeah, so like 50,000 were the new ones. So it was super successful. But what we did, we gathered a bit of the audience. We understood. So the goal was to get people with company email. We didn't really care even about the phone, but we needed the company email. And over 70% actually registered with the company email. The simplest thing you could do, you just write your company email, and they do. So this is like, there's no rocket science behind this. This is just like a simple line above the field where they should type in their email. And we knew that those people, like, convert better. And then we fed this audience to Facebook, and one of the Facebook ads alone, like one ad, brought us 16,000 registrations. So this is the power of ads. And then you just feed the Facebook with pics. So gradually the best audience that converts, and then tell the machines that you want those people, and then it was super successful. And in Instagram, like, there was the second top performing channel in getting people. And that was okay. This was a huge conference, but ultimately then we nurtured the people, and we divided them in two buckets: the ones that already registered for us for SEMrush and had the account, even the free one, and the ones that like didn't know anything about the platform. So for them, we shared about our academy, more educational content, and further on, if they registered for the academy, they already passed the courses on SEMrush or heard about it, so it was easier for them to get the lower down the funnel. So I think this is a really like a perfect example how we align different channels, and then what we do after we get the lead.
Yeah, it's also a number of things that I just think about that. Number one, it's encouraging that there's so many mixed emotions and so much outside noise from outside the SEO community that SEO is, either shrinking or dying, whatever. But it's really, really encouraging to hear that you were able to grab 56,000 folks for, mainly an SEO conference. I know there's other stuff going on too, but that's encouraging. And also to, again, what we teach in terms of lead gen to our agencies is very simple, right? And I think too many people want to overcomplicate marketing, right? When it really just comes down to core principles. And you guys are doing this at scale, and clearly it's working, right? It's really just a matter of, again, putting together something of value, right? Whether that's a white paper, a webinar, a conference, free access to your tool, which might come on later in the funnel, but putting something together of value that your audience will like, and then figuring out a way to get it in front of people, social media, email, influencers, whatever that may be. And then once you have them, their email, their phone number in your ecosystem, then it's a matter of just understanding who they are and where they are in the process. And then, as you said, nurturing them with different pieces of content, right? If they're completely unaware, then it's okay, let's send them, maybe some case studies, maybe introduce them to our tool, or if they've already been in our CRM for 2 years, what is it that stopped them from buying and what can we get in front of them there? So it's always really encouraging to have these conversations, again, especially with companies that are doing this stuff at scale, and you're not recreating the wheel. You're just following best practices, but you're just doing it very well because you know exactly who your customer is, you know exactly what they care about. Now it's just a matter of, again, pouring a lot more gasoline on that fire and seeing how big you can scale it. So it's really, really awesome to see this stuff playing out in practice. And again, when it's executed well, it's really machine, and it's a thing of beauty, right? And then it's just a matter of figuring out continuously what kind of content do we need to just continuously push in front of people. And then you kind of alluded to it too, is now you're just looking at how do we make it better and better and better and better, because you got the process dialed in. Now it's just a matter of ratcheting up the quality. And again, figuring out how you can get more of that created. So it's always very encouraging to hear that. So we are just about out of time. I know you're busy. I really appreciate you coming on. This was always fun. I love having these conversations with growth marketers like yourself. Again, especially when you're operating in a different field, there's a lot of insights that you bring to us. Is there anything else that you want to share with the audience while you have their attention?
I just probably had one comment about we know who our audience is. Yes, we do, but this is so diverse. Like, we have SEO tools, we have advertising tools, we have tools for content, for social, and then there's also head of marketing that needs the analytics, but they don't know they don't need position tracking, they need reporting. And so I think, like, every agency, we talked about the rebranding, and they said, like, we don't envy you. Like, it's hard to be you, because it's very difficult to align those audiences. Like, you still have 5 or 6 different audiences, and then try to glue everything in one platform. So this is, I guess, one of our biggest challenges is now. And so it's not super easy, but it's definitely doable. And also it's great when you see one audience, for example SEOs, and then you feed them like the news or educational content about content marketing, and this is like aligns together. So this is where upselling comes from, and then this is where the retention comes from, where you just educate your current clients on the offerings you have. So this is another like big pillar of what we do, and this has proved like a great strategy when we try to expand the toolkit for one specific customer.
Absolutely. So again, thank you for coming. Tell the people where they can find you.
On LinkedIn, I guess, or on Twitter. Twitter is better. So it's just Olga Andrienko. And
Awesome.
SEO.
Well, again, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're busy. Your dog needs
Thank you so
attention.
much, Ryan. It
Of
was
course.
fun.
Always. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, talk
Have a great
soon. Bye
day.
bye.
Bye.